Thank you for tuning in to today's review on the PHORCYDES 500-meter submersible. Please take this opportunity to hit the subscribe button and remember to hit the notifications bell so you are up to date with all the latest reviews. Don't forget to check the video description where you'll find the AliExpress link to the watch that is being reviewed and also the link to my eBay store. Also remember to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. As the video states, today's review is going to be on the PHORCYDES watch from AliExpress. PHORCYDES, I don't know exactly what to call it at this moment in time, but for the remainder of this video, this will be called a PHORCYDES. For those of you that do follow my channel, will know that I bought this watch in the August sales. Now at that point in time, the watch was a very good price, and prior to that I had been watching it in my cart for quite some time, but the price was just a bit too dear for me to pull the trigger, as they say. And at that moment in time there were also no reviews on the watch, and wasn't really sure. I haven't heard of this brand before, so you've got to remain slightly skeptical. But when the sale came around, I thought, you know, let's buy it. After all, as a reviewer, that's what we're meant to do. The watch had arrived a couple of weeks literally after I made the order. Now this one is for you, the subscriber. I've actually got a queue of videos lined up, I think 4 or 5 reviews to come out, but since my recent video I've seen a couple of subscribers ask about this watch in particular, so it has jumped the queue, and here we are doing the review for you guys right now. We're gonna head over to the AliExpress store just to give you a rough idea of how the store looks like, and just look at the other possible variations for this watch before we come back and go into the full review. Okay, we're now on the AliExpress store where I purchased this watch from. I had a quick look around, and I think this is the only store where this watch is available to buy. Now that's pretty strange. Maybe it's because it's a fresh new watch. So the store is called Shop 5837013. I don't even know what that is. But as you go through the store, you'll see they sell quite a lot of steel dive watches, and they've got a couple of Addies stuff, but the PHORCYDES is only available on this store. And when you just scroll through, you'll see this brand in particular, it only has one other watch. So a quick glimpse there, and that's clearly a 50 fathoms inspired watch over here, but that's not what we're here to look at. So let's have a quick look at the PHORCYDES, or PHORCYDES, I don't know how to even say that. So we've got the main picture here that shows you a few different variations, and I'd say for the most part the different colors that it is available in and variations look pretty decent, and quite a lot of the variations have now sold out. The price at the moment is around 170. There are no reviews on this watch at the moment, so there's very limited information out here regarding the actual watch, so it's quite difficult to gauge where this watch is from, and that really bugged me. And the seller who has this watch wasn't really helpful as well. So you'll have some information on here when you go into the item description. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's check out the watch in real life. Welcome back. So as you can tell, quite ambiguous, you know, the origins of this watch. A few things just don't add up. I really want to know, it's killing me, the curiosity of it, is where this watch actually comes from. Who is responsible for this? The fact that it's on a random store, and only on that store, it hasn't really gotten out in other stores. It's just curiosity. I really want to know. So that aside, the box, this is what the watch came in. As you can tell, look at this box. Very, very robust watch. Box, sorry. It looks like it's come straight out of the military. Maybe they can use this as a black box device or something. So it comes in obviously very sturdy, and literally as you see me open it, this is how the watch arrived. I think it had some plastic covering over the watch head, but that was it. No paperwork, no instructions, no manual. So I'm guessing no nonsense, just here's a box, here's your watch, and carry on. Now it's pretty clear to tell, even when you look at the watch on AliExpress, that it does look like a bit of a beast of a watch. First thing I want to do is let's have a look at those case dimensions, because this is quite a substantial watch, and even the weight in hand, you know, it looks very bulky and it feels very bulky. The case diameter, that comes in at 45 millimeters. Now, following on from that, the case thickness, the website actually states it's 16 millimeters, so you know, on the thick side. However, in hand, using my own caliper, it's coming in at 15.3, so significantly off what the supplier has listed it as. And then the lug to lug of the watch is 50 millimeters. So even though on paper and in the pictures the watch does look quite big, dimensionally it actually isn't. It's not far off. It's actually very similar to the Marine Master in terms of case dimensions, so which isn't too bad, and it isn't too big. So I suppose that is a bonus for those of you thinking that it just looks absolutely massive, which in the pictures it really does. So specifications, so this watch is fully stainless steel. It runs a NH35 Seiko Epson movement, which is a 24 joule movement, which beats at 21,600 beats per hour. And the sweep on this is 6 ticks a second. You also get a screw down crown and 500 meters of water resistance. Now, of course, they've equipped this watch with a helium escape valve for that reason. And you've got a case back. So pretty standard specifications, nothing really out of the blue, nothing which we're not used to. And they're using really reliable movements that we've heard of. So, of course, not to mention, the domed sapphire crystal. So yeah, so far, so good. So let's focus in on the smaller details. Let's looking at the dial. Now this was one of the features that really made this watch stand out, and it was one of the main reasons I actually purchased the watch. So as you can see, it is a sandwich style dial, and you've got at the 12 o'clock 4 sides submersible, and at 6 p.m. you've got professional 500 meters and 6, what is that, 1 second, just bear with, 1,640 foot. Now that's some impressive numbers to look at when you're looking down at this watch. Secondly, around the dial you've got this awesome color combination. You've got a great contrast. Now from the variants that we saw on AliExpress, there are a few nice looking ones, but this is the one that appealed to me the most. I love that matte black dial against these, it's like a dark beige color on the actual dial, and at the 12 o'clock Lume pip. You also got that same color on the tips of the hands, and I think against this black background, it does show an amazing contrast. Of course, you've also got a bright orange second hand, and this hand is the icing on the cake. You have to admit the color combination does really set this watch off, and the orange hand just makes it pop, gives it this really sporty look. The hand style for me, yeah, they are skeletonized, and they look like a reverse obelisk style design. And the hour markers, for those of you out there that are well versed with your watches, the hour markers and the bezel is inspired from the Panerai submersible. Obviously another giveaway is where you've got the 4 sides and submersible written underneath. That is how the Panerai submersible looks like. So they've taken clear inspiration from that watch, creating the style and the bezel. However, past that, the case is quite different. So to me, this case, obviously it's a cushion style case, and you've got the crown guards, which are very Seiko-esque for myself. and they remind me of a turtle. So to me, this is like a little mix between a Panerai and the turtle. Now, Panerai is quite a specific taste, I would say. I know they're expensive watches, however, I've not seen a Panerai to date which I think really looks nice. But this here, I like how they've combined two designs, and this is more of a style that I'll be interested in. And I'm assuming this style of case and watch is probably more appealing to a lot others out there now, just due to how it looks. Last feature of the dial is the lume they've used. So let's have a quick look at the lume. Now have a look at this lume. Super bright. Now you can't really tell in the video what color it is exactly, but I did take a still, so I'll put that picture in so you can really get a visual of what it actually looks like. But as it is, I'd say the lume is very good quality. It's very bright, and you can see how the edges of the hands are highlighted, as well as the tips, the hour markers, the 12 o'clock lume pip. But the second hand is not illuminated except the actual stem or the base of the second hand, where you've got a slither of lume. Let's check that still out so you can see the actual color of the lume. So this is the still I managed to capture, and you can see that it's not your usual C3 dark green lume that you're looking at, and it's almost a lime green color. The supplier has listed this as Swiss C3 grade A lume, but whatever it is awesome to look at. Now I want to pay a bit more attention to the bezel and the case now. So the bezel insert, as you can see, it is stainless steel and it is Panerai inspired. So you've got these raised markers on the face of the bezel insert. Very well done. There's good engraving on there. It's been machined to a pretty decent standard, and you've got circular brushing which you can see around the actual bezel, and you've got minute markers going up to the 15-minute counter. The bezel itself, it reminds me of a coin edge bezel. Let's have a look at the rotation. It is a 120 click unidirectional bezel. A bit of a tricky one. So the thing with this bezel is it feels very solid. The initial feel is good, and when you start turning it initially, it does feel very smooth, and you get some really good positive feedback from it. However, partway through, you feel a little rattle. So I think the problem with this bezel is just looking at that, is consistency. The actual movement or the rotation, there is barely any consistency in the feeling, the sound. As you just heard that, I'll shut for a minute or a couple of seconds so you can actually hear it. So, you know, partway through, it sounds really good, and then you get to certain spots where you get a nasty rattle out of it, and I think if you go a bit quick, then that's where you get the different sounds. But I'd say this is probably considered normal pace, and you do have quite a bit of rattle on the actual bezel, which is, it's not the worst. The worst bezel that comes to mind is that Steel Dive 50 Fathoms homage, but there's no, you know, lateral play, there's no springiness in it. Back play, you've got, I'd say, half a click's worth, so it isn't that. I don't know what mechanism they've gone with, and it's just not consistent. They could definitely improve on that. Regarding the case, you've got a fully polished case, so the machining around the sides, the curves, all those beautiful curves and edges and sides, fully polished, and the A face is also polished. I've got mixed feelings when it comes to that. I think visually, aesthetically, it looks brilliant. I do like this polished look. However, I think practically, especially being such a big watch, and the fact that it's a 500-meter dive watch, you know, it's a bit of a beast. So it will be a scratch magnet as well as being a fingerprint magnet. And I think for Practicality, they should have gone with a brushed finish, and I think that would have suited it as well. But the practical option being the more preferred option for this kind of watch. Crown, it's at the 4 p.m. position, as you can tell. Very big and significant crown. The measurements just on the crown, you've got a 5mm crown in length, and the diameter is 8mm, so pretty substantial. But as you'd expect, very good grip. It's got a good screw down action, decent threading. You can just have a look. There you can see a couple of O-rings just to add to that water resistance. And the crown also has the PHORCYDES logo. Let's click out once. Now, because it's NH35, you can feel the ghost date function. It's not a problem. And then just hacks, stop it wherever, and you can set the time. I like the fact that you use such chunky hands. And if you haven't noticed, I didn't mention, of course there is no minute track, and there's no chapter ring on the watch. Let's turn the watch around, go to the back of the case, just take that off. So you've got pretty standard looking case back. It does look very professional, I have to say, and it looks OEM-ish, and what I mean by that is it's what you'd expect to find from, say, a micro brand or a commercial brand, because it's got your specifications there, the way it's been brushed, the way it's been engraved. It just looks very smart. 4 sides, PH1, that might be the model number, and you've got this, I'd say, laser etched logo. The logo's okay. The name does sound pharmaceutical, but we know the names you're coming out with, so to be honest, the name's okay, considering what's out there. And you've got sapphire crystal written on the case back. I will say this watch has a couple of the markers or the makings of a potential micro brand, and the reason I say that is because the actual style of the watch, it's not something we're used to seeing from China, where we get just copies. And the fact that they've done something quite different, where they've combined a pan dial and bezel insert, and they've combined it to a turtle case. I think they've done a really good job, and it's interesting, and hopefully you'll have more that kind of follow suit. I think we do want to see some and I say this ironically, some originality coming out from China, which I don't think we'll see anytime soon, but there you go, one can only hope. Let's see a wrist shot. I'm sure you're interested now and you want to see what this looks like on the wrist. That leather bracelet is a very top quality bracelet. I love the waxiness to it, and you can see it fits a bit large on my 6.5 inch wrist, and most of that is to do with the stiffness of the leather strap. Very significant watch, as I said. The comfort is there, it sits very comfortably, but it is slightly oversized for my wrist. Right, so from one wrist shot to another, decided to change the strap, see how it looks on something different. And I'm a big fan of these waffle style straps, very comfortable, and I think this watch might actually need it. If you caught a little glimpse in the video, these watch straps, I absolutely love these watch straps. They look so antique. They've got this beautiful grain, waxy look. However, they do need a couple of days to fully wear in and just get really supple. So I've gone with a waffle strap, and let's see how that looks. Before I do that, wrist check. If you know, you know, and you know what's coming up soon. I won't say anything else. Let's put that bad boy away and put this bad boy on. So that leather strap was kind of stiff, and I really want to put a more comfortable, more flexible strap on to see how it actually does fit on the wrist. I'll say that fits a lot better. It isn't too heavy on the wrist at all, and I think it looks okay. It's still on the limit. It's a 50mm lug to lug. My wrist is only 6.5 inches. So anybody with say 7, 7.5, even bigger than that, 8, 8.5, it'll fit really well on those wrists. Something to note here is the seller listed this watch as having drilled lugs, but this watch does not actually have any drilled lugs. There is a slight discrepancy from the actual description of the watch, and it's worth noting that, you know, you're not going to have the drill lugs that it says it does. Let's do a quick summary and let's wrap this up. So what are my, well, say final thoughts on it? I'd say overall it is a very good attempt. I really do like what they've done with it. I'm not a Panerai fan, but the way the case, the dial, the bezel, it all works. It fits really well together. It does not look odd at all. I like the chunky crown. I love the Lume on here. I love the color option that I've gone with. I love the orange seconds hand, and generally, you know, it is done to a pretty high standard. My only biggest problem is the bezel action, and a preference I'd say, or maybe they should do a type with a brushed case, even if just the A face is brushed, and leave the sides, you know, highly polished. That's the only things I can say right now. Everything else is absolutely fine. Last point I want to make is the price. Now, I got this on the sales for 130. So that was because I had quite a large discount, just because of my purchasing history with AliExpress. And the thing with AliExpress, the prices do go up and down. Right now, this watch is sitting at 170, as you saw. Now, is it worth 170? I would say absolutely not. That's high end. You're looking at San Martin slash Proxima sort of money. Are they there yet? They're very, very close, but I think the bezel let it down. What is it worth? I'd say this would fit nicely between the 120 to tops 140 mark, and that's top, you know, and that's because if you really do like it, I really wouldn't go anything more than that. However, obviously, if you like it, then, you know, what I would advise is just hang on until there's a sale creeping in, or until you see the price go down in or around that mark. So yeah, I think I did make a good decision to buy this. But what I don't know, again, consistency. So you might have a bezel out there that is really good. Now that I'm doing this flat down, it seems to be absolutely fine, and that is what I would prefer it at. But, you know, really covered that. Maybe you just need some wearing in. Let's see what happens. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you for the next review.